What up, guys? Your boy Quake, and recently 50 Cent's Many Men has seen a spike in popularity due to the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump's life. Because of Donald Trump surviving that, people started trolling online saying that Donald Trump would come out at his next speech with 50 Cent's Many Men playing in the background, since the song is an anthem for anyone with their back against the wall. The song spiked so much in popularity that the track entered the top 10 iTunes US song chart at number 7 due to everyone buying the song. So I decided, why not put a mini documentary out to educate some people on how the track was made and breaking down some of the lyrics. Most of this footage is taken from my Get Rich or Die Trying documentary, which is available on my channel. It's titled How 50 Cent Got Rich and Nearly Died Trying. It's a documentary where I flew all around America to interview engineers and producers on 50 Cent's album. For this video, I took footage from the Many Men track and added some extra stuff for this specific video. If you want to see that documentary in full, click the link in the description below.
Many Men. Let me tell you, out of all records on the album, this was the most premeditated, already written record that when I heard the melody and the shit he was saying, I was like, this is deep. This is crazy. He had that hook and that concept. He was looking for the right beat.
What's up, y'all? This is Digga, and I produce Many Men on Get Rich or Die Trying. The Many Men beat, and it's probably, a lot of producers can probably tell the same type of story, but with that particular track, you know, it went through a lot of hands. That track was probably one of the first Dipset tracks, actually, you know what I mean, that never really was released. You know, so when we first started forming Dipset and the Diplomats or whatever, you know, I had a home studio and we were recording to that. So I have a version of that song with Cam, Jim, and Juelz on it, right? Fast forward, now the beat is in the hands of Nas, right? So Nas wants the track, you know, went to the studio with Nas. 50, he was a studio junkie, networking and different things of that nature. Somehow, some way, he was in a Nas session when Nas was actually recording that song. He heard it, he loved it. His A&R at the time, Lenny Nicholson, the A&R at Columbia at the time, gave 50 a copy of the instrumental of the track. You know what I mean? Because he loved it so much.
And when you get to the crib, Fifth had that beat. He brought that shit through. He'll be in my basement, like I said, doing push-ups with a Bible in his back pocket. I'm looking at the Bible like, this fucking guy got a Bible. Then he's chanting, Many Men, like this chant in my crib. I'm like, this chant is crazy, bro.
He got shot and he went to Pennsylvania and he was healing up. And he called my house, yo, let me speak to Digga. You know, my wife picked up the phone and said, hold on. It's like, it's 50, okay, it's 50. So I'm talking to him, we talked on the phone for about an hour, but long story short, he was calling me, basically telling me, yo, I still got that beat when I get on this album, yo, you know, when I get my deal, yo, I'm gonna use this song, you know, whatever. So at this time, you know, he's shot 9 times, right? So he's calling my house and he's telling me about this beat that he's got, that he's gonna use on the album, he's not even signed, right? So of course I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he called, we talked about the industry, we talked about the beat, said the song was fire. You know, like any other artist, I'm listening to him like, yeah, you think everything is fire, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, hung up, didn't speak to him again for a few months. Those few months went by, and he healed up, and he took the fucking streets by storm with every single mixtape that you can imagine at that time, and he was hot like fire, you know what I mean? And then fast forward, he's getting this big deal with Eminem, Dr. Dre. I get another phone call.
And at that time, he was all Dipset. So we in competitive spirit. So I'm like, yo, does Cam have this beat? Like, what's going on? So I called Gino, like, yo, make sure nobody. And Fifth did the double call, and then Digga had to, but we locked and secured that.
John Money said, yo, we want to actually use that song on this new album. You know what I mean? I'm like, get out of here. This is crazy. Like, this is probably, I don't know, maybe a year or two after that. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy that how he said he was going to use the song, he tore the streets up, and the rest is history.
That record was done before Get Rich or Die Trying, before the deal, on ADAT. You know what I'm saying? So Nowhere in sight of a deal, no Dre or M coaching him. That story was told from his heart. That melody, that whole shit was in him. He had that just ready for the album and pushed that to the side.
Homo shot me 3 weeks later, he got shot down. He got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing.
In these bars, 50 Cent was referring to Daryl Baum, aka Homo. And Homo is the alleged shooter that shot 50 Cent 9 times. However, Homo ended up getting killed himself in a shooting that had nothing to do with 50 Cent. And it was reported BK gangster Damian World Hardy, who is Lil Kim's ex-fiance, was the one that allegedly shot and killed Homo. The most interesting thing about these bars on Many Men is that 50 Cent allegedly named Homo to deter police from catching the actual shooter that Supreme allegedly hired. 50 Cent was aware that the police were listening to his music, so to prove he wasn't a snitch to Supreme, he named Homo as his shooter because Homo was already dead and the police can't question a dead man. The rumored real shooter was revealed during the Murder Inc. trial in 2005 from a co-defendant that decided to turn snitch on Supreme named John Reagan. John said that it was a person named Robert Son Leons, who was the bodyguard for Murder Inc. that pulled the trigger on 50 Cent, and not Homo. This testimony, however, has never been addressed by 50 Cent himself. He himself says it was Homo that shot him and no one else. In a recent interview by AGTV, they spoke with the former NYPD officer Bill Courtney. He was assigned to a lot of hip-hop cases in New York and spoke on the incident with 50 Cent and Supreme and revealed that the shooter was in fact Ja Rule's former bodyguard, Robert Son Leons.
When 50 Cent pulls into his grandmother's driveway, Kenneth McGriff, a guy named Son from East New York, and a guy named Godby, who's a 5%er and a former member of the Supreme team, acting in concert, shoot 50 Cent, I believe it was 9 times. 50 looks up, he's getting shot, so it's hard to see, and he turned to the guy he was with and said, I think that was Homo. Now, Homo was a guy named Daryl Baum, who's a famous, robber from Brooklyn, really tough guy, tough with his hands, not a shooter, not a killer at all. But 50 said, wow, I think that was Homo. So he had it in his head that Homo probably took the contract to get him because he had trouble with the Supreme team. He had trouble with the Murder Inc. Records guys. So he figured that it was a contract out on him and Homo took it. Well, when I heard who the shooter was, this kid's son, he didn't have an arrest record. And I thought, well, that's odd. And so I ordered his driver's license photo. It's like, well, this kid don't look anything like Homo. So I ended up getting some good surveillance photos from a source of mine. And when I finally identify him, there is a resemblance to Homo. And I could see why 50 thought that Homo was shooting him. Because 50 never cooperated, we were able to get corroborating evidence of who the players were, who shot guns, who hid the getaway car, everything. But because 50 wouldn't cooperate, we really didn't have anything to go by. So the case was solved. We never got credit for it.
Slim switch sides on me, let niggas ride on me. I thought we was cool, why you want me to die, homie?
In these lyrics, 50 Cent is referring to Chaz Williams, also known as Slim from Southside Queens. Slim was an OG in the hood that 50 grew up in, and was great friends with Supreme. But when 50 Cent and Supreme's relationship went sour due to Ja Rule, that's when Slim decided to slowly distance himself from 50 Cent. In doing this, it gave Supreme the green light to then kill 50 Cent. Back then, if you were up and coming in Southside Queens, you had an OG that would back you and vouch for you so that you wouldn't get attacked. Well, Slim was that OG for 50 Cent, and Slim tried to make a meeting happen where 50 Cent, Ja Rule, and Supreme could all talk to each other to end the supposed beef. But 50 Cent never showed up, and that's when Slim wanted nothing to do with him anymore. Thus came the green light and the shooting. This is why 50 Cent said Slim switched sides on him.
He didn't hold any punches to tell his whole story about what was going on with him in the streets, right? So I kind of knew that, and truthfully, I was getting calls about me being the producer of the song, was literally getting calls at the time about, yo, like, why 50 said that? You know, street dudes don't understand, the difference between making a record. So, if I made the beat, like, now I'm part of it. You know what I mean? So it was actually really crazy, and it was real. People like, yo, he's talking about such and such, and this dude got knocked and all of this, and I'm like, yo, I don't know any of those people. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It was really a real street song for real, for real.
Once Eminem heard Many Men, he wanted to add a special touch to the production, and that's when Digga got another call.
Yo, they call, you know, like Eminem just wants to add some guitars on it. You know, at the time I'm like, yeah, all right, you know, and of course this is Eminem, you know, so I'm like, okay, it's not gonna stop me, you know, I'm just happy to be here at the same time. But, you know, he wanted to add the guitars, and it did add an element to the overall cohesiveness of the track and the album.
That was the anthem after that, man. It became a single. Like, it was the most hardest street single. We had to shoot the video. That shit really, really grew his audience.
That's it for today's video. If you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. For just $3 a month, you can get my videos uncut and raw the way I intended them to be, but couldn't because of YouTube. Plus, you also get access to our Discord community, where we have a great community talking about hip-hop and various other things. It's very dope. So only $3 a month. I'd really appreciate the support. Also, follow us on social media at QuakeGW and at Diverse Mentality. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.